Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. Let's get started with our hosts, Linda McKissick and Dana Gentry.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. I'm Linda McKissick.
And I'm Dana Gentry.
Hey, Dana, how are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good. Doing great. I had a pretty crazy day already. For the first time ever, I went to the airport and had no driver's license. I am not believing it. And of course, we ain't got that much time. So it's not like we can run home and get it and come back because,
What time was your first flight?
First flight was 8:30 a.m.
You were there early.
Yeah, I was there early, but not early enough to go home and get my driver's license back. So, it's so funny because we immediately shifted in gear and went home after, first when something like that happens, I immediately shift into solving the problem. Okay,
Yep.
there's a solution. And then once I kind of resolved that, okay, the only solution is to fly out at 12:20. And so that means I'm 4 hours behind, but we went home and we had been needing to make a list of furniture for all the new cabins we're building. And we actually just got that knocked out. And we almost missed the plane again because today's the day that the clock goes forward.
Right.
So I thought, if we miss this flight, it's going to be bad. So anyway, we made it. And when you're a Griswold like us, and where is your middle name for both of us, you just kind of adapt. You just get used to this kind of stuff. It just happens.
I said last week, Press gets it so honest, bless his heart, because he left his journal. So I had to go back and get his journal wherever we were. And then I didn't have time to take it to UPS because I was leaving to go to South Carolina. So I gave it to Heather and said, can you mail this to Press? And she's like, when did you see, why do you have Press's journal? I'm like, he left it.
He got a double dose from mom and dad. So bless his little heart. But so I'm happy to be here finally. We finally got to Dayton, Ohio. And
yes, I will.
I get to visit. We're getting ready. We're getting ready for our other leadership academy, which I really look forward to these leadership academies. I'm having a great time, and
me too.
And are also so.
Yeah, it's been good. Yep, I know today's the first day I feel like a human. I have been down and out for like the last 4 days with some sort of sinus infection or something. I don't know. I think little Graham gave it to me, bless his heart. But
yeah,
daycare.
Good thing he's cute.
I know, that's right. I know. So today I finally feel like a human and got outside and planted all my flower pots.
Awesome. Well, that isn't going to probably help either. But.
I know. Now I'm like getting nasally again.
Okay, so today, super excited. We're going to be answering a question for Jen from Ohio. So why don't you read the question and then let's dive in, because I think if Jen has this question, I don't think she's the only one. I think there are a lot of realtors out there that struggle with this question. So I think we'll help a lot of people with it. So.
Yep, totally agree. Yeah, this is a really, really good one. Okay, so she said, hi ladies, question. Can someone like me who hates phone calls and Facebook thrive in real estate? I'm beginning to doubt because so much business advice says I have to make 30, 60, 100 calls a day and use Facebook relentlessly. Yes, I'm an Enneagram 5. You sense that already, I bet. Blessings, Jen. So yes, very, very good question.
Well, good news is, Jen, I hate Facebook and I hated prospecting my whole life. So there is hope for you.
Yeah, definitely. I was actually pulling up to see Enneagram 5s. I know we were into the Enneagram.
I saw that, but I couldn't remember. I don't remember them well enough to know.
I know. I couldn't remember what it was either. So Enneagram 5's internal monologue is I feel safer on my own. I need to understand. That needs more work. They're attracted to being able to retreat, gain knowledge, observing from a distance, not being overly engaged, and they avoid being feeling incapable, inadequate, and empty. Sometimes they can have strong emotions, sometimes fear, and they don't like to be incompetent with anything. They want to get it right.
Oh, yes. I could see how that you could definitely struggle. And by the way, I think all of us have a little bit of that in us anyway, but if your leading indicator, that could certainly cause some conflict in the world. Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. That could be a little bit of a reason, but I think nobody loves to just pick up the phone. And I mean, I like lead generating on social media, and I don't care to pick up the phone, but it's not something I look forward to, I guess.
Right. Well, and I think all of us have fear, and all of us would always love to have a little more time to get ready.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
so I think we all have a little bit of that. So, yeah, I mean, I remember with my team, because in the early days we followed Mike Ferry, and it was prospect, 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 prospect. That's all it was. You almost were made to feel like an idiot if you just didn't prospect, prospect, prospect. And, I'm so thankful that I ran across other mentors, because I don't think I would have been able to, number one, turn my business over to someone else for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have been able to sell it for over $1 million, had I not built it marketing based with prospecting referral enhanced. And I just firmly believe that. I just think, and the reason I think that is because when top agents have come to me that all of their business is 100% prospecting, we've never been able to transfer their business for someone to either step in and take it over, because nobody's going to come in and prospect to that level
Yeah.
like you have.
Yeah.
And so I think they're going to have the same issue that everybody has, is it's not that you have to do it, it's just that it has to get done.
Yeah.
So like we've said before, anytime you're missing a goal or not getting something accomplished, you're missing a who, right? And
You said one thing in your response to her email. You said that was really good. You said that there's two ways to go about it. There's prospecting and then there's marketing. And that was how you built the 200. And I think a lot of people don't understand the difference between those, though. I feel like that people think it's either one or the other.
yeah, I totally agree. I always say there's two ways to build a business. There's prospecting, which is the sale. You go to the sale, you go hunt them down and find them, or marketing, that the sale comes to you. And, I still believe today that if you're going to build a business that you're going to turn over to someone or you're going to sell it, you're better off to have a brand that people recognize.
Yep.
And you have a strong referral base. Those two are going to be long-term more solid to turn it over to someone or to sell it, I think, personally.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. One thing that I, shared with her too, is not only, marketing, I think is just a huge piece that I love marketing. I've always had a passion for it. But one of the things that I talked to her or responded to my email was sometimes people, if you're not willing to do something, then they really might need to find the who to do it also. So if she's just, if anybody's listening that's in real estate and they're just not willing to do social media, then they may just need to hire that out, leverage that out, and find a who that can help them, because it is a very powerful way to get business in today's industry.
Yeah, and a lot less expensive than all the means that we had to pump money into to get our name and our recognition out there.
Yep.
Absolutely. And really, she knows Anna because she was saying in her email that she was grateful to Anna for Anna picking up the phone and calling her one day and getting her over. And that's Anna's story. Anna would not pick up the phone. And so press said, well, good, we're going to get an ISA. And so they hired an ISA, which is inside sales associate. And that person made the call.
Yep.
And it reminds me of that card I always keep in front of me. When you do something you're good at, you cheat someone from doing something they're great at. I think we struggle when we think nobody in the world wants to do it.
Yeah, I agree.
For some people, it would give them great joy to be dialing and talking to people all day long.
Yeah.
I definitely think that is a solution to it. And especially on the front end of your business, I think prospecting is more important on the front end of somebody's business than it is later on. And so you might have more of a combination or a need to, and the other thing I like about prospecting is sometimes you can find people before they raise the hand to the world. And so right now that's a big thing because listings are so hard to find.
Yeah, in the beginning, I think there's always, you either need more time or more money. And in the beginning, usually people need more money, agents do. And so that's why there's more prospecting, I feel like, because they don't necessarily have the money yet to go spend on all the marketing. So they're more on the prospecting. And then you get to a point where you need more time, not more money in your business. And so then you can kind of switch gears. And I think one of the things too, and this would be something I would say just in general, but also especially for Jen or somebody like Jen, she's going to have to deep dive into her database. Like she's going to have to really, really, really have like as good systems with her database. She's going to have VIP groups. She's going to have to really touch her people, which I know she responded and said that she did. because if it's not natural for you to want to grow your business through calling or through Facebook, then you've got to really hit your database and grow your database. I liked that she responded and said that she has been working her sphere like crazy. In the last 3 years, only 2 people in her database have chosen another realtor to work with, which that's a good feeling, because we all know it's like a punch in the gut when you see somebody who bought or sold a house with somebody else and they're in your database and you're like, what in the world?
Yeah, so true. Well, and I think prospecting can come in different forms.
Yeah.
I think you have to really figure out what works for you. I've really learned that even today. I still use that. If something doesn't work for me, I say, I'm not saying no to it. I'm just saying we got to figure out a way that I like it and I enjoy it and I'm having fun with it. So think about that. Networking at social events could be prospecting. Learning a script, and everywhere you go, asking someone, have they thought about a career in real estate? It's a compliment to the other person. Or just say, have you thought about, you might be good in my business, which makes them have to ask what's your business, and you automatically get the conversation to go in a direction you need it to go. That's prospecting.
Yeah.
And it is conversations with people. And worst cases, they're going to say, yes, I've been dying to sell real estate. And great for Jen, because she's at KW, she could bring them over. But even if you weren't at a place where you wanted them to get into real estate, at least that's not going to happen. First of all, 99% of the time, they're going to say, my mother needs to sell her house, or I was looking to buy, or something like that. And at least you got the conversation to go that direction. The way I used to always look at it is you already got no. So what can I do to change a no to a possible yes?
Yep.
And asking people, you might be good in my business, makes them have to ask, what's your business? And then they can take it where it goes from there. I'm not hounding them or prospecting or feel. And, I think another problem with prospecting is people think you're doing something to someone instead of for someone.
Yep.
Sometimes the mental thing of, in Jen's case, based on her Enneagram, it might be that she doesn't feel prepared.
Yeah.
But a lot of times we got to change our limiting belief that we're doing something for someone instead of to someone. And the thing I always say is we're not good enough to make a buyer buy, seller sell. And so if we're not good enough to do that, can we really do something to someone, or can we just really uncover the people that have a need at that time?
I actually wrote that down. That was in one of my little quick notes I jotted down. Was sometimes I think exactly what you said. You have to switch your mindset and think about sometimes if you have a fear of calling, I think, and if you think about, gosh, you know what? Oh my gosh, Linda, Jen needs to go back, and anybody else listening needs to go back and listen to, I'll have to find the episode of it. Sid, oh my gosh, yes, he was incredible. I'll find the episode and share that.
Yeah, I've given that book to a lot of people. I love that book.
I'm blanking on the name of the book.
It's gosh, let me see. It's something.
I know. I'll find it right now too.
Something about self-promotion. It's Sid Walker is who it is.
Yeah. It was so good. And oh my gosh, I can't believe my brain is not working right now, but
everybody should read that book once a year. I don't care what you do, because all of us have to talk to people and do certain things. And I love this book. Matter of fact, I think I might have some extra. How I Conquered Call Reluctance, Fear of Self-Promotion, and Increased My Prospecting.
There you go. Yes.
Yes. So I sent that to a bunch of team leaders earlier this year. And he has a great story in there where he talks about it. It's like rolling dice. Eventually the numbers are going to come up that you need to come up. So yeah, so I don't necessarily, so here's what I would do, Jen. I would constantly work on seeing if I could get myself to believe differently about the prospecting, and maybe find ways that I enjoy doing it, that I don't feel like are prospecting.
Yeah.
Then my second option would be to maybe look at getting someone who would love it to do it. And the third option would be to spend more time and energy on marketing. And the beautiful thing about social media is it is free compared to, we used to have run half page ads in the newspaper and
billboards
and all that stuff, which I'm still not thinking the billboards might not be a bad idea. Certain things you could do. And I usually just would be every 2 years, I'd do something really big in my marketing. Yeah. And I've done postcards, and I think mailboxes are empty again. Yeah. So I think hit people with postcards right now and maybe get good success.
There were several people from Gary's Top 100 that said that they went all back to direct mail because so many people were at home right now. But I can remember spending like $12,000 to be on the buggies in the grocery stores.
Yeah, I never did.
There's so many things. But you're exactly right, Linda. Social media, it is so much more cost effective, and you can reach you can target right to your own people, which is very helpful. That was why one of the things I said to her was, if you're never going to do it, you have to find somebody who will, because I just don't think you can miss that now. It's too strong of a source.
Yeah, until you build your referral business big enough and all that. But the other thing is, on the marketing, you got to remember that you either have a call to action on it and you can measure the results, or you're just hoping you're building your brand. And not that it's not okay, but you got to be clear about what one is doing. Don't expect, to me, the grocery carts, the billboards, the things like that, they're more of reputation building, name branding, that kind of stuff. I could never totally 100% measure my return on billboards, probably like you couldn't on the grocery cart, but on a card, call me now for a free computerized valuation of your home. That one definitely you could track.
Yeah. And I was just looking at my notes from that great social media panel that we had, the digital event we had last week. And I think it was Greg Erlinger who said this. It was either Greg or Danny Barron, but they said now marketing, it has to be infotainment, meaning it has to be entertaining and you have to give them information. Mm-hmm. Which, I was thinking, and originally I think that's what people liked our podcast, because it was entertaining and they got information. So it's infotainment.
That's why we all like
anybody's.
That's why we all like podcasts, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But they said you can't just give information now. It has to have some sort of entertainment to come along with it. And then you can't just be all entertaining with no sort of value or information, or you miss the boat on that too, because people are wanting both at one time.
Dana, I love that, because I think when I think about even like the marketing I did, I would get up on top of my house and say, list your house with us and we'll get right on it. Or I'd go get our neighbor's dog and say, dependable and trustworthy, and so is the dog. That's kind of entertaining.
Yep.
And then on the back would be call for a free evaluation of your home. So I think people like that combination. And I wonder if any of the people on social media have figured out how many times I got to be in front of someone. I know with the traditional ways of being in front of someone, usually I'd have to have about 8 drips on someone before they pick up the phone and call me. And all 8 had to have call to actions on them.
Yeah.
They or most of them, at least of the 8, would have to have call to actions on them.
Yeah. I don't know the number of that, but I was just thinking, Josh and I started our vlog, I guess, almost 2 years ago now, over a year ago. And that was the whole reason, was because we wanted to be people were like, oh, you all are so funny. We think it'd be funny to watch you. So we wanted to be entertaining, but we want to make sure that we're providing content for all of our clients, for our real estate team back in Kentucky that's valuable, that they can take back. So we spotlight local businesses and we spotlight our builder and all sorts of different stuff like that, while making it entertaining. And, that'd be interesting. We need to figure that out. How many times does somebody need to see that before they actually think about you when they think about real estate? But I would think it wouldn't be as many, because they're bought into you. They're invested in watching you and learning from you at that point.
Yeah. I've always used teaching. It's just something, no matter what I'm doing, whether I'm selling houses or I'm building my businesses, I always use teaching because it's something that I like to do. And I was thinking about this the other day. I thought now more than ever, you could just become an expert that teaches people everything about real estate.
Yep.
You are you're their guru, everything around real estate. You could have something where you have people come in and talk about home improvement, and they get to know which of the home improvements bring in the most money when they sell. You could have someone come in and talk about how to get their taxes reduced. You could talk about investing. Why have one home when you can have 2? There's so many topics.
So many things.
And even if you hit someone, and the reason I learned this is you could go teach at your community college, these classes called continuing ed.
Yep.
There really wasn't any credits or anything for them. It's just if you just wanted to learn about something, and they would go get local professionals and get us to teach the class. And I remember I always, for like, I don't know, forever taught how to buy your first house. And it's so interesting because one of my best listings came off of that class. And I would always have a guest speaker because I thought, I don't want to talk for 6 weeks straight. So I would have a home warranty. I mean, I'd have home repair people come. I'd have just all these people come to speak special in my class. And it's so funny because I got one of the best listings ever. And I asked the guy, I said, what in the world are you doing and how to buy your first home if you already own a home? And he goes, well, it's just been a long time. So that's the other thing you could teach.
Wow.
Have a class on how to buy your first home or how to buy a home if it's been a while.
Yeah.
There's so many ways that you could give. And I think giving is the best way to ever get anyway. And so to me, I would pick probably something like that because number one, I'd rather have 50 eyes looking at me than 2.
Yep.
And I'm increasing my odds because really real estate's still just a numbers game. And the more toe to toe you get or face to face, whether that's through social media or whatever, those are the people that are going to win the highest level.
You are so spot on because just today my dad said, I haven't bought a house in like almost 20 and another house in 20 years. And he's like, what is the difference now? What do I need to do? And what would I do? And I thought, oh my gosh, that's so true that you just said that because people who've owned a home for a really, really long time and haven't bought or sold for many, many years. I mean, it is there are different things and there's probably tons of people out there that are wondering if I haven't sold my house in a long time or bought a house in a long time, what's different?
Well, if you were trying to take over a neighborhood, I'd just go in there and say, hey, once a month, I'm gonna have a class on how you keep your taxes from going up.
Yep.
Year. Because you know what teaching does, it creates more validity.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be top of mind.
You're the expert.
When that person does decide to sell. So I'm not going to care that, a lot of people in the room may not be ready right now because I'm building for future validity and future relationships.
Yeah, I love that so much. I just taught a class to my top 20% in my market centers last week. And one of the things that I shared was what Jason shared with us about the data and then the insights and then the action and giving them the different, he gave us the different examples. And I thought that I don't know, I feel like it's so different now compared to even how it was before that we almost have to, I was trying to pull up and give the example that he gave with the it was first time home buyer seminar that he gave because Linda, did you see those stats right now that from last year, from 2020, NAR came out and said most important factors for buyers, 21% is honest and trustworthy, 18% is the experience that they get, and 15% is the reputation. Designations and their company and some of the other things that used to be the top were like less than 1% now. And isn't that crazy? And so it was the unique insights, access, and services. And so Jason shared with us, which I thought was so good. That example was the insights. You have a first-time home buyer guide and a specialized process, and then you give them unique access, and you say, here, you get to come to my first-time home buyer seminar, and then you provide a unique service. Hey, here's a vendor list with some sort of personal touch that's just specially for first-time home buyers. Like you're creating, you have a piece of all three of those things: the insights, access, and services. And Gary's been talking about that for a while now, but we have to be thinking like that.
Well, and in Texas right now, because we just had that, sorry, that freeze.
Yeah.
I can't see on my neighborhood news how many people are begging for plumbers.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you had access to plumbers, why wouldn't you be touting to the world, hey, if you're having a hard time finding a plumber, call me because I can help you get a plumber.
Yep. That's a no-brainer right there. Totally a no-brainer. Yeah. I think ultimately, not every agent would wake up and say, I love to get on the phone and I love to do my business on Facebook. So it's just thinking outside of the box and figuring out other ways that you can have more of a marketing-based business like you shared with her in the beginning.
Well, and I think also, I think where top agents get into issues is when they don't control where the business comes from.
Yep.
So if you're building a team and you're using all your people's leads to build your business, you're not in control of that, then you're in jeopardy of, eroding away any profits because they're just going to keep coming to you and wanting more splits and because you're not really controlling the lead, you don't really control anything.
Yeah.
The thing about my business is it was always very clear. It was my business.
Yeah.
And so I never got into this. Well, you bring a deal and we'll do it this way. I say, look, I'm going to throw more in the pot than you ever throw in the pot, but
Yep.
you can throw some in the pot. Great. But we're going to treat them as the same, because I could just never figure out how to be so specific. But, I would say on the marketing, it's find out what your voice is. What do you love doing? I just remember trying certain things before and they just weren't me. They weren't authentic.
Yeah. People can tell.
They can tell, and I think the things that I did, like getting on top of the house and kind of acting crazy and having a dog and saying, depending on, those fit who I was. So when I showed up at the door, I didn't feel like somebody different. I felt like the same person. So there's got to be, so much of who are we and what would we naturally do? It's so hard. I think our unique abilities are so easy for us that we think it's easy for everybody. And I think what you have to do is say, what's unique to me? What am I good at? What do I like to do? Where am I most comfortable? And try to design, whatever prospecting that looks like. And then also try to design what marketing would that look like?
Yeah.
So is there any final thoughts that you would give Jen on, I think database, like you said, is huge. I would go back and say, of the two people that I lost, I'd be curious. I might even call them and ask them just out of curiosity, why'd you choose someone else?
Yep.
I had someone say to me the other day, and this was a top agent, and she said to me, well, I don't want to bother people. I thought I was going to die.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to die. I'm like, you cannot have that mentality that you're bothering people.
No. I had that for years too. I think when you're not taught any different, that's just how you feel, but then when you switch your mindset to the opposite of that, it's so different, because then it's like, man, you don't want them to end up in the hands of somebody who's terrible, or who can't take care of them or protect them. And you want them to know that it's all about you helping them. It's just a different mindset. And, I was laughing to myself when you said earlier about you'd be great in my business. Once you start doing that, you get in such the habit. I mean, today I was checking out at Lowe's and the lady had on these big gold hoop earrings and they had these keys hanging off the bottom of them. And I said, oh my gosh, I need some earrings like that for my business. And she said, what do you do? And I said, I'm in real estate. And she said, I've always wanted to be in real estate. And she said, I just have never done it. And I said, well, I'm going to text you my number right now. And if you ever decide or think about wanting to get your license, I'd be happy to help you. And she's like, would you really? That's so sweet. But then I left, got in my car. Like that was totally normal for me, because we do it all the time. Because it's like second nature.
And she could have very easily said, well, I really love my job at Lowe's, but you know what? I've been thinking about buying a house.
Exactly.
That's what majority of them say.
Yep.
So you increase your odds just with a conversation and any conversation, right?
Yep.
And I always say my two favorite ways to do any conversation is compliment, which if you might be good in my business, is a compliment, or what are your thoughts?
Yep.
You could even say this. You say, hey, I know it's crazy out there. What are your thoughts around what's going on in the real estate world? I mean, that would have been even something that could have worked for the Lowe's lady, because she's got people coming in and out every day. Well, I tell you what's crazy is all the home repair everybody's doing.
Yep.
And so I think there's so many ways once we can kind of just change our mentality just a little bit, and maybe even sit down. I sometimes think, and you've heard me say this before because of my love of Dan Sullivan, which by the way, we are interviewing very soon on our podcast.
Yes.
I love his thoughts around procrastination. And that is, you're procrastinating because you're doing something that is bigger and greater than what you've done before.
Yep.
And so it's really about either finding the who's, because a lot of times the first thing we do is we say, I need to prospect, or what do I need to do to prospect more? And instead you could just say, who do I need to get that would love to prospect? Or how would based on what my unique ability, how would I enjoy prospecting to some degree? And then what am I doing on the marketing side? And then what are the things I'm choosing to market? what are the odds that I'm going to get immediate business, and what are the odds that what I'm using to do to marketing is going to be a long-term gain in the business? You got to be realistic about those things. So I always say do the warmest first. So obviously your database would be first, your prospecting and your marketing, whatever you choose to do on those would be next.
Yep, I love that. The only thing I would add to that is just know what you're never going to do and be aware of that and figure out a way to compensate for it. Because you get burnout when you have Dan calls it something, and decision fatigue, I think is what he calls it, when it's like you keep thinking about things and how you're going to do something over and over and over again, but you really know ultimately you're never going to do it.
Yeah. So matter of fact, what I'll do is, because Jen submitted us a question, what I'll do is Jen, reach out to me on my email that you reached me before, and info@lindamckissick.com, and give me your mailing address, and I will mail you Sid Walker's book, How I Overcame
Call
Reluctance and Self-Promotion. I'll send you that. So
that's a great one. Jen will love that.
Awesome. So Jen, thank you so much for your question. And remember, if you have a challenge, an opportunity, a question that you think Dana and I may be able to help you with, reach out to us and submit it to us at info@everything life and real estate, or info@lindamckissick.com will also get it to me. And the greatest compliment you can give Dana and I is to pass our podcast along to someone that you believe would get benefit from our conversations. And if you haven't, be sure and hit the subscribe button down below. That's how other people find out about us. So Dana, I guess I'll see you in 2 days.
Yes, I'll see you Tuesday.
See you then.
Be sure to subscribe for more business strategies and tactics to inspire you to live an abundant real estate life. Don't forget to rate and review so we can bring you the best content. Find this and other valuable information at everythinglifeandrealestate.com.